Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to put one stock right under the microscope, AMT Digital. We're going to see what story the technical data is telling us, ignoring all the headlines and focusing just on the numbers.
All right, let's get right into it. For the next few minutes, I want you to think of this less like a financial report and more like a full-on doctor's checkup for a stock. We're going to check its vitals, run some lab work, and try to come up with a prognosis.
So, who's on the examination table today? It's AMT Digital Inc., and you'll know it by its ticker symbol, HKD. Let's begin the exam.
Okay, first things first. The last known price was $3.15. That's our baseline, right? It's the starting point for this whole checkup.
All right, with the baseline set, it's time to check the vitals. These are the big top-level numbers that give us a quick pulse check on the stock's overall condition and personality before we start drawing blood, so to speak.
And right away, we see something interesting about this patient's personality. A beta this low, just under 0.2, tells us that historically, this stock doesn't really get rattled easily. It's way less volatile than the overall market, which means less drama and smaller price swings. A pretty calm patient, it seems.
Okay, so if beta is how fast the heart is beating, then ADX is all about the strength of that pulse. And at 23.19, that tells us this stock isn't just lying there, it's moving. And it's moving with some real conviction. There's a clear trend happening. But the big question is, which way is it going?
And boom, here's our answer. Look at that Arun up. It's at a perfect 100. That means the bullish momentum, the upward push, is basically maxed out. It is just dominating the bearish side, which is sitting there at 64. So far, these initial vital signs look really, really strong.
All right, the initial vitals look pretty good, right? But any good doctor will tell you, you gotta run the lab work. You have to look under the hood. And for HKD, this is where the story gets really, really interesting. So let's just pause for a second. What have we seen so far? A calm demeanor, a strong pulse, and pure bullish power. Looks like a clean bill of health, doesn't it? Well, not so fast.
You see, a great diagnosis is all about finding those little details that don't quite add up, the contradictions. And that is exactly what we find when we start digging into the volume data. The actual flow of money in and out of the stock.
Okay, this is where it gets fascinating. On one side, you have the on-balance volume, which says, hey, buying volume is building up, everything's great. But then you look at the ADOSC indicator and it's whispering, yeah. But whenever the price dips, even a little, money is leaking out. It's like taking 2 steps forward and then quietly taking 1 step back. And that conflict, that's a huge red flag. It screams indecision.
And you know what? The strange lab results don't end there. A whole bunch of other tests are all pointing to the same thing. This stock has been running a marathon at a sprinter's pace. Our patient might just be running a fever.
So check this out. The Relative Strength Index, or RSI. Think of it like a stamina bar in a video game. Anything over 70 is considered overbought, basically getting tired. HKD is at a very high 86.57. That stamina bar is deep in the red.
And if you thought that was high, look at this. The stochastic RSI is at a perfect 100. 100. It literally cannot go any higher. This isn't just a warning light. This is the engine sputtering. The stock could be running on pure fumes at this point.
And just to really drive the point home, our third test, the CCI, is at a frankly ridiculous 666. To put that in perspective, anything over 100 is considered high. This is just way, way out there. So what's the takeaway? We have 3 completely different lab tests all shouting the exact same diagnosis. This stock is severely overheated and could be due for a serious cool down.
Okay, so we've done the initial checkup, we've seen the surprising lab results. What's the doctor's final prognosis for HKD? Let's break down where it could go from here. This here is our battlefield map. You can see the current price, $3.15, is kind of stuck in the middle. Below it, you've got a support floor at $1.86. Above it, there's a key pivot point at $3.67 that could act as a ceiling. And if it can push through that, the next big hurdle is that resistance level way up at $4.95. So when you put all of this data together from our whole checkup, you really get 3 possible outcomes. First, the bullish story. That powerful momentum we saw just keeps on running and smashes through that resistance. Second, the bear story. The exhaustion we saw in the labs finally wins and we get a correction. And third, the neutral path. The stock just takes a breather. It chills out and trades sideways for a bit to cool off.
So in the end, what this whole analysis comes down to is a classic battle.
a real tug of war. On one side, you have this incredibly powerful upward momentum, and on the other, you have these screaming signs of extreme exhaustion. The big question, the one that tells us everything, is which one of those forces is going to win? And that's our technical checkup for today.